Uh, so first off, thank everyone for coming out uh, short notice. Due to due to the president nominating someone very late, I would say, my case has stalled with Senator Taylor's case in his years to overthrow the United States government, which comprised of the United States House, United States Senate, and as well as the presidency. Um, as I've announced before about a week ago, charged with 157 counts of charges. That is ranging from everything. It's 18 United States Code 871. That is count 107 through 157, influencing, impeding, retaliating against the federal by threatening injuring a family member. Count 1, seditious conspiracy. That's 18 U.S. Code 2384. Count 2, the conspiracy to commit murder. 18 Code 1117. Count 53, 100 through 103, mailing communications. 18 U.S. Code 86. 104, 106, threats against the president and successors to the president. The facts of the case is as follows. Matthew Taylor was a resident of New Orleans in the Southern District of Louisiana, United States Senator for the state of Louisiana. Taylor, with a number of his former staff and employees, conspired to lead a coup to overthrow, murder, and kidnap members of the federal government, including political rivals and loyals. As stated in the case file itself, the citizens of the United States and had a tangible right to a representative who has their safety and lives in his hand and has access to different classified information. The defendant, Matthew William Taylor, was elected Senator for the state of Louisiana. The defendant's oath is as stated. The defendant's oath stated that he will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. In this case, he did not uphold his constitutional duties, which then caused him to be investigated by the Department of Justice in the first place. After a joint investigation between U.S. Capitol Police and the Department of Justice, Chief Dansfield he's announced who were the liars in his case, and he has released them to the public for further information and for the contact of those people. Because of their action and Senator Taylor's action, those people, he has been charged as such. At this time, before I move to the question, I will let Chief Dansfield have the floor.
All right. Thank you all for attending once again. I would like to open the floor by saying all suspects are innocent until proven guilty in the court of law. None of them have been found guilty at this time, besides that will be proven within our justice system. At this time, my intelligence team is still moving forward and looking into the organization that was filed and formed upon this within Matthew Taylor's control and authority. The most we have found right now is a total of 3 American residents a part of this. They are also being pursued to follow with charges upon them. At this time, we are not going to release their names until I can have my intelligence team prove identities and move forward. At this time, Matthew Taylor, just like my attorney general said next to me, he will be charged with the counts that are being presented to him. We will not be lenient on him. We expect a lot more from the senator. I will say there's chance he can be found not guilty, but I'm just going to say this. You try to pull this within our government, you're not going to get away with it. I'm going to say that straight up right now. If anyone has any information regarding this, please forward it to myself or the Intelligence Division of U.S. Capitol Police, and we will look into it. Attorney General, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chief. At this time, the floor will be open to any questions.
And before we continue, there are some questions we will not be able to answer due to non-disclosure agreements and classification.
Hello?
Senator Wintour.
Hello. I have a question. So will Senator Matthew Taylor be in custody? Be taken in custody by U.S. Marshals? Or like, what is the situation? Or is he welcome back on the Capitol? Like, how can you ensure the safety of me and my fellow Congresspeople?
At this time, we've announced to Senator Taylor that we am in custody, but until we get an enforcement to custody, it is at his own at this time.
At this time, security at the U.S. Capitol and Capitol police officers are aware of it. They are to be reminded of his presence on the Capitol, and he is to be kept under close watch by a Capitol police officer at all times. And I also asked the FBI agent to please stop trying to glitch onto the stage. Thank you.
It's not an FBI agent, by the way. The FBI doesn't have any employees.
Oh, what a shame. Anyways.
But as I stated, we can't force him into custody until we have a warrant signed by a federal judge. But at the time, I'm waiting on the president to nominate a federal judge. Any questions? Any more questions?
Good evening. Off of current sources, we are being told that one of the individuals that were targeted by the senator was current Senator Eric. Has the individuals that have been threatened been given extra protection? This is mainly a question guided towards the chief. Has the Senator Eric, as well as the other members of Congress that are being targeted, been given Capitol Police protection round the clock, or what's your guys' situation on that?
I can assure you all senators involved in this case are under close watch and protection from my officers and our protection details. Do note that due to our lenient amount of membership at this time, because of the starting operations of AP, it is very hard at the moment with budgeting and manpower. At this time, yes, I am manning protection officers upon them, but we also do need to be aware it's kind of hard to manage that while also managing the whole Capitol.
And then another question for you: has the DOJ gone to the Senate Sergeant at Arms to recommend not allowing the senator in question onto the floor due to the safety concerns?
As a member of the Capitol Police Board, we are going to discuss that tonight in a conversion meeting. The Attorney General, would you like to answer?
Yeah, I will answer that. I have not spoken to the Sergeant at Arms or anyone in charge of protection at the Capitol due to the sensitivity of the case. A lot of information being withheld from the public due to its being high profile, and I don't want integrity to lower because of potential leaks or classified information. Also, because Senator Taylor is still a senator, I'm not 100% sure if it is legal in that fact to ban a senator from in-law. He is still a senator.
Okay, thank you.
Senator Obama.
Hi, thank you. This question is toward Director Dansfield. So do you think the performance of the Capitol Police would be effective if the government had a shutdown? because of
No,
budgeting
how
disagreements?
that's related to this case, but I'll answer anyway. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you. I just want to know.
At this time, I can assure you the shutdown of the government will drastically drop our operations, but it will not affect us. I will continue to uphold our duty to protect the Capitol and its membership and democracy. And it will not stop us from pursuing action upon Senator Taylor or anyone that tries to threaten democracy.
Okay, and this one is about the case. So, Operator Sense, I'm sorry, Attorney General Marcus. So how are you pursuing this investigation, even though there's not really a judge? And seeing that you're not actually confirmed as Attorney General yet.
Good question, actually. Because the lack thereof, because the president has not nominated a federal judge or anyone for this matter, just being myself and the Secretary of State, my case has fallen drastically since its opening. Information has been held back and removed due to me being my nomination being expired. I've had to turn over my investigation to the president, but files have been lost in that matter. So a lot of files have been lost, and I'm attempting to restore that. As I've stated before, with the lack of a federal judge, my case can't really gain traction without a warrant or subpoenas, since those have to be signed by a federal judge as well.
Oh, and by the way, do you think that if the president pardoned Matthew Taylor, do you think during this whole investigation, do you think that would be obstruction of justice before he's even heard out before a judge?
I stated my concerns on this during the first press briefing when I announced the charges when I announced a rough draft of the charges before, that I do believe it will, in my legal opinion, that it will be obstruction of justice if the president decides to interfere with the Justice Department on Senator Taylor's case. I've kept the president out of the loop with this case to prevent further information from being released, or again, the president trying to pardon Senator Taylor. So I've kept him out of the loop to ensure such and ensure justice is upheld.
Hello.
Secretary Janet.
That's not who I am. Right. So I just have a question for Chief Dansfield.
Yes, how can I help you?
Yeah. So I'm boiling rice, and the directions call for 2 cups of water.
Yeah, we're going to ask everyone, if you have legitimate questions, please do me a favor and don't waste my time with unnecessary remarks and gestures and comments. Thank you.
Oh, this is AJ with NBC News. We're wondering, due to the fact that the person in question, the person DOJ is charging, is indeed an active U.S. Senator currently serving, who does have a vote and somewhat reputation, maybe be able to persuade some other people. Due to the fact that the federal judges have to go through the United States Senate to get confirmed, is there any, does the DOJ have any sort of worry that the conflict of interest in this case will result in any judge the president nominates to be failed?
The Department of Justice is concerned about that because of Senator Taylor's weight within the United States Senate. He is a top Republican in the Senate Republican caucus, and a lot of Republican senators have expressed their concerns regarding the Department of Justice and the way we're moving about this case. Criticism comes from mainly the Republican Party, but again, the Department of Justice will remain committed to ensuring that justice is done. But referring back to your question, the Department of Justice is worried about the federal judge being confirmed, or myself even being confirmed officially.
And
In
then,
most of the
to
case.
follow up to that, Mr. Attorney General, do you personally believe that the Senate should consider suspending the voting powers of the senator in question for the time being until the investigation and court proceedings are complete, or until the federal judge is nominated and confirmed?
I am not too well. I'm not well knowledgeable about the United States Senate and their operations, so I'm not 100% sure if they are able to do that in the first place. But moving back to the question, if there is a possibility that something like that can happen without interfering with the Constitution, the Department of Justice will seek all avenues. But again, I am not strong on the United States Senate operations and their rules, but I do believe that will be unconstitutional to remove voting powers of a senator.
Okay, thank you.
The real Secretary Janet. There we go.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Kind of, but yes.
Great to hear. Mr. Attorney General, this question is for you. Well, two questions for you, actually. The first question is in regards to the employees of the senator subject at hand here. Are they going to be asked to testify in the case that the DOJ is presenting against Matthew Taylor?
Because of the charges that's going against. Say it again.
I'm sorry, what?
Okay, thought you had something to say. Because of their actions with the case itself, they're going to be charged, same as Senator Taylor in the case. Because of such, the Department of Justice will not ask them to testify due to it can possibly self-incriminate themselves, which is again unconstitutional due to the Fifth Amendment.
Absolutely. And my final question for Mr. Hansen is recently the president did not seek the support, advice, consent of the Attorney General's office in regards to the nomination of the Senate Minority Leader Dan Woods as FBI Director. I understand that this is an unrelated question, but what does the Office of the Attorney General see under that circumstance, and does the Attorney General's office support the nomination of Minority Leader Woods for FBI Director?
Because of sensitivity in that, and former Senator Woods now is a Republican. I 100% myself legally I don't support it, but the president does not require my advice nor consent to nominate. We all serve at the pleasure of the president, so he is able to appoint, remove, and suspend anyone who he deemed necessary. So again, I 100% support the decision of the president.
I see. And then my only question for Chief Dansfield, Mr. Dansfield, how are we going to expect that situations like this do not occur from offices around Capitol Hill again?
Well, I will say this. There's nothing we can really do about this besides trying to mitigate the expense of criminal organizations breaching into a democracy. I will say that as someone that was looking further into this, I feel like senators should possibly look into hiring background investigators before hiring their staff, or even though looking into their previous history and making sure they don't have criminal records or anything of that such. It's just a general recommendation, because what I saw here, it was more involvement with the senator and some of his staff, but I won't go further in detail into it due to the sensitivity of the case. But I will say this to all the senators and representatives out there: whenever you are in the hiring process of hiring staff, please hire a background investigator and look into them before you hire someone, because it will put you in a pickle like this. That's all I have to say.
Senator Allen.
You can hear me, right? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Perfect. Got so quiet. So, Mr. Attorney General, when news broke out that your year has expired within the Department of Justice, and you've been notified, has the president made any intention, in any way, shape, or form, to keep you within the cabinet and continue to serving as the acting attorney general? Did he reissue your presence within the department or within the cabinet? Has he done any of that sort when you were informed that your tenure as acting attorney general has expired?
Oh, great question. So, I'm a man of transparency. I like to be as open as possible. I will not sugarcoat this when I say that the president has, in a private forum, expressed his concerns with me not following his instructions or directions, and he has talked to Senator Obama on my possible removal, stating that he could find someone else to do the job for me.
Really? And under your knowledge, what may those quote-unquote circumstances be? Are you not following his orders because of this pending case, or is it because of something else? What do you think it is, under your knowledge, that you aren't following quote-unquote circumstances that the president is laying upon the table?
The president has expressed his concerns with the case from the beginning, stating that he does not feel that the case should even continue, and that he has stated that he will pardon Senator Taylor before the case was even opened.
So he told a senator that he was willingly going to pardon a possible criminal that has been indicted by the Department of Justice on the charges that he was threatening a member of Congress, especially a top Democratic leader within the other chamber. And he showed his willingness to pardon him and intervene in the case that is still ongoing by the department and obstruct your work. Is that what I'm getting correct, Mr. Attorney General?
Everything is correct except for the part that you said that he talked to a senator on the possible pardon. He's spoken to me about it, and he also stated publicly that he will pardon him. But so that's not privately known to just myself, but everyone has most likely heard of this.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Attorney General.
No problem.
Yes, thank you.
Representative Spence, you'll be next.
Specifically in the indictment document, and you also mentioned earlier in your opening statement, you said you're indicting Mr. Taylor for 18 U.S.C. 87-1, which is basically threats against the president and successors to the presidency. Who specifically did he threaten in the line of succession?
He has threatened many members of Congress, including the Speaker. He's threatened the Speaker. He has threatened President Tempore of the Senate. He has threatened members of the cabinet, and as well as the president himself.
So, specifically in regards to that, you mentioned members of the cabinet. You also mentioned the Speaker. The Speaker was out of office by then, so I don't think that would constitute a violation of that specific code. And then as well, I haven't seen anything.
By the way, NBC would like to make aware that this is currently the Vice President of the United States going against the Attorney General on the counts that the senator is being charged with. So, the Vice President, the Chief of Capitol Police, and the Attorney General are having a big argument during this press briefing. Let's listen in.
I'm
Was
not
released,
going
you
to-
said House Democratic leader.
Well,
So I
I'm
just
not
wanted
the
clarity
speaker,
on that.
and I believe the board of directors voided that role play as he was speaker, but I do not know honestly what that whole thing is.
You're
Okay.
speaking
And then
about
another thing I was gonna.
Speaker McCain, correct? Are you speaking on Speaker
Yeah.
McCain? It was not Speaker McCain. He's
No,
serving
I
now.
was speaking about when Spence was speaker because I do not believe Jackson was threatened. But moving on to the next question. Earlier on, you mentioned that a presidential pardon would constitute a violation of.
I did not state
obstruction of
presidential
justice.
pardon. No, not speaking about a pardon. That is
Yes,
the president. That is the
Senator
president.
Obama's question was hypothetically, if the president pardoned Mr. Taylor, would that constitute a violation of obstruction of justice? And you said yes to that question, and he specifically mentioned the power of the pardon. So do you think that if the president were to take action and pardon Senator Taylor, would that constitute obstruction of justice?
A pardon would not constitute obstruction of justice, but I referred to my original statement before when the charges were announced. The original question was if the president takes action. The question wasn't about a pardon. Would it constitute obstruction of justice? And that's what I was agreeing to. But I've stated many times that the president has the right to pardon whoever he deems, and that would not constitute
And then
obstruction of justice.
just a follow-up. You said obstructing action. What would constitute such action to be obstructive?
Such as the president removing myself or anyone from the case because of the investigation continuing, such as the president stated many times, but has not actually done it.
And you also, just following up on that statement, this is the last one. You mentioned earlier you serve at the pleasure of the president, and every specific principal officer of each cabinet department, of course, serves at the pleasure of the president.
Correct.
So hypothetically, if you were to be fired or removed by a sitting president for reasons not affiliated with this specific investigation, do you believe you would go to Congress or Congress would take action to seek answers in regards to your termination?
In regards to that, I cannot answer that question because you are asking me to have the belief of Congress. I cannot speak for Congress, nor will I try to. But as I've stated, I serve at the pleasure of the president. So if the president decides that I am no longer able to fulfill my duties as the Attorney General of the United States, then I will support that. Would I like it? I would not. Would I think that it was for another reason, such as this case? Yes, I will, but I would not myself go to Congress, nor will I ask them personally to do so. Again, if they choose to, that is 100% up to them.
Okay, thank you.
Who do we have next? AJ from NBC, you'll be next. Actually, sorry about that. Wrong person. Representative Spence.
Okay, thank you for your time. I've been waiting forever. But I'm currently trying to cook a bagel and I need to know how long to cook it for. Can someone
Okay.
I'm going to say this again. If you do not have a legitimate question, we will kick you out of this meeting. Thank you.
Hello, I have two questions, if you don't mind.
Who's speaking?
This is
Could you
Jim
please stand up for me?
Deacons from Politico.
Go ahead.
Anyway, my question is for the both of you. The first question is: has Senator Taylor retained legal counsel?
At this time, not to my knowledge, Senator Taylor has not. What Senator Taylor is able to, how would I say this, to self-counsel himself because he is a certified lawyer with the United States. But I'm not aware if he's retaining legal counsel.
Okay, and my second question: do you prefer your vagina shaved or unshaved?
Okay.
That was
Thank
a unique one. I'm going to say this one more time. If you do not have a legit question, please depart from the room at this time. Thank you.
All right, I just have one question. So, where was these threats made? Like, were they made on the Discord or private messages, email?
These messages were made over a private Discord, which entered them into roleplay when they started messaging in roleplay, such as, how would I say this? Sending official messages, if that makes sense. Messages that will be counted outside of roleplay standards. Anything that's outside of roleplay standards will be just a quick message here or there, but this was made into an entire Discord, sent to many members of Congress, myself, and believe that is it, and Chief Dansfield. So that entered them into official roleplay.
That's all.
Thank you. Just to answer that question, this will be outside roleplay answer or a statement. Due to the AP board of directors limiting what can and cannot be used in roleplay and what channels can and cannot be used outside of roleplay. The general chat within the main Discord has been the only channel as of so far. Well, the entire section that is that general channel is under has been deemed unable to be used in official roleplay. Anything else is not. The messages here were made outside of Discord and DMs to multiple members of Congress, and because of the spam of the message, it was entered into roleplay. For that matter, I believe Speaker McCain had.
Thank you, Mr. Attorney General, and thank you, Chief Dansfield. I have like one quick question. I don't know if you're aware, but recently, within a Senate session, the idea was brought up on the invocation of the 25th Amendment. I am positive that you're familiar with that amendment, as most people here should be. My question to you is, if that does arise, what is your take on invoking the 25th Amendment for the president?
Okay. Sensitive topic, but I will answer to the best that I can. I've been working with the president since day one to ensure that the country is on a steady incline and not a decline. The Department of Justice has been, to my knowledge, the only cabinet department executive department to be on the incline. That could be 100% false, but to my knowledge at the time, my office is doing what we can to ensure that the president's agenda is met, and that is ensuring the safety and the lives of the United States citizens. To answer the question, Vice President Harrison has already released a statement on that, and I 100% support the decision of the Vice President, and I will work with the Vice President and the President to ensure that we can avoid such action to be taken, because as he stated, it has never been used, so the use of it is not 100% clear at the time. So I do not support it until we can. I do not support it at the time. That is all I have.
All right, thank you, sir.
Hello?
Hello?
Waiting on you.
Mr. Cooper? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes, we can clearly hear you.
Hello, you guys. It's Anderson Cooper.
Okay.
All right then. Next question, please.
Thank you. Mr. Attorney General, it seems as if well, it's been confirmed pretty much now that the president is strongly against you guys launching an investigation or anything into the senator for quote unquote making threats towards members of the cabinet, making threats towards the speaker, President pro tempore, and himself, as well as other members of the United States Senate and Congress. The vice president just stated pretty much the same thing, asking a whole bunch of questions. While it's not 100% clear if he supports it or not, it would be pretty safe to assume, I would think, that he disagrees with aspects, if not the entire thing, of what DOJ is doing at the moment. As he did speak about if you were removed, what you would do. What is your overall stance on knowing the fact that the president and now the vice president both are coming against you on this specific topic?
To that question, I will say this. When I first was nominated, I spoke to not the vice president, but I spoke to the president, and I stated to him that I am going to do my job as the best ability that I can do so. I am partisan. I am a registered Republican, but that will not interfere with my duties as the Attorney General of the United States. The president and vice president themselves can do as they please, but until I am properly relieved, I will not default from my position and my job.
Okay.
So at this matter, case will stand until further announced.
So what you're saying is that even if the president, let's just say hypothetically, if the president gives you the option to either continue with the case and lose your job or halt the investigation and maybe try and let Congress do something with the investigation, start a congressional investigation against him, which has been done before. There have been investigations in the United States Senate on other senators for various reasons. Does this mean that you're willing to give up your entire career inside of the Department of Justice and most likely inside of the entire executive branch, as well as your cabinet ranking position, to continue this investigation onto the senator?
That is correct, yes. Also, I would like to make an announcement here that there will be a special, to get myself away from the case, I will be I will be seeking to have a special prosecutor appointed to take over this case to ensure that there's no partisan backing behind the case. Because, as I stated before just now, I am a registered Republican, and to ensure to anyone that has any ill thoughts or any thoughts that I will possibly interfere with my own investigation to ensure that Senator Taylor is not properly charged and found guilty or innocent, I want to back myself away from the case, so I will be seeking to have a special prosecutor appointed on this.
Okay, follow-up question. Trying to remember. Oh yeah. About the 25th Amendment, the Speaker of the House just came in and said that the Senate was discussing this. If the House, well, should I say, would you be in favor of removing the President of the United States? It's a big question to ask, but it's something that everybody here wants to know. So, would you, and do you know of any other cabinet secretaries or cabinet ranking officials that would be in support of removing the President of the United States?
At this time, the rest of the cabinet officials have stated that they will not be in support of it, and I've stated myself that I will not support it, as we shall work to get the country moving forward and not push further behind with this type of with pushing the 25th Amendment agenda.
If the president does decide to pardon Senator Taylor of all crimes related to this investigation, what will you be doing? Will you be seeking anything from Congress? Will you be trying to find another investigation, or are you just going to drop it, let it go? What's your response going to be if he does decide to formally pardon Senator Taylor?
If he decides to pardon him, that is his 100% constitutional duty. He is able to do so without my consent or anyone else's consent. So that would not be obstruction of justice, as I've stated many, many times. I've stated would be obstruction of justice, with possibly me being fired because of this situation, or interfering with the case, such as requesting me to drop, demanding me more, so to drop the situation, or else scenario. Any other events such as what you stated would not be obstruction of justice, as again, such as pardoning him, because that is his constitutional duty. As I've stated many times, I would not be going to Congress myself, but if Congress requests me to come in, I will do so.
And then, one final question for you here. Oh, there are people standing up nearby. Okay. One final question for you. You said, and I quote, DOJ is the only cabinet department to be on an incline. Does this mean that you believe every other cabinet department or every other executive branch department that is headed by a secretary, a part of the president's cabinet, do you think that every single one of them are on a failing decline? Because he did say, again, in quote, that DOJ has been the only cabinet department, their only executive department to be on an incline. I don't know what exactly you mean by incline. I guess overall statistics and activity in general is what I would assume you're saying. But does that mean that you believe that every other cabinet department or every other executive department is on a decline at the moment?
That is not, again, I stated that it's not, I'm not 100% sure, but to what I'm seeing so far, the Department of Justice is the only cabinet, is the only executive department to be, how would I say this, not in service, board active at this time, since I have not seen any other officials to do so.
So you're denying the quote?
No, I'm not denying the quote. I have 100% said it.
Okay.
I'm saying that I stated before that could possibly, what I've said could possibly be false. Correct me if I'm wrong. But to what I'm seeing so far, that is what I've stated.
Okay, thank you, sir.
No problem.
I will spit this comment out before we continue any more questions. I will say all political stances and comments made today, it was not represented by the U.S. Capitol Police. We are completely bipartisan in our operations. I do not expect anyone to think our investigation was simply initiated due to Senator Matthew Taylor being a Republican.
Speaker McCain, you will be up next with your question.
Hi. Thank you. So I just have one question, unlike the others, and I also want to make a statement. Anything you say in here counts towards our piece, so please be, serious and serious and whatever towards asking questions and mature. Anyway, my question is: if the president asked you to resign, would you resign?
If the president asked me to resign, no. Again, I said that the president would have to himself fire me for that.
So if the president asked you to step down, you would say no unless he fired you.
That is correct.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you. Speaker McCain, then Senator Wintour, you will be next.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I had a question pop into my head. I know the DOJ has been conducting this investigation for some time now, but I was concerned, has the DOJ personally reached out to the senator and spoken to the senator since the start of this investigation?
The Department of Justice has not reached out to the senator because we are waiting for the senator to announce that if he's representing himself or is going to seek legal counsel. So to ensure that he does not self-incriminate himself, I do not want to speak with him unless we bring him into custody first, and he announces
And
his counsel.
follow-up question to that, has the senator been made aware that he has to have a representation or to notify the DOJ of his representation So essentially, does he know that he has to contact you guys?
He is aware of it, as I believe he is on the judiciary himself. So from that, he is aware. I've stated to him many times that he needs to contact me on his representation, but at this time he has not.
All right, thank you, sir.
No problem. Senator Winter, you'll be our last question.
Hello.
Yes.
Hi. Would you support? I have a few questions. Would you support the Senate doing a simple resolution to expel the senator from the chamber in the United States Senate, while speed up the process and prevent him from entering the Senate and causing a harm to any other Congress people? Would you support a resolution like that?
Well, that's more of a partisan matter, don't you think?
But would it aid at all if the Senate were to proceed?
It would. I believe it would aid the.
As we would not have to confirm a judge, and the president wouldn't even have to find a judge, which he is showing so slow progress at. Would it assist the process?
I believe it will help would help Capitol Police to help them. I believe that will benefit the case entirely if that resolution was made. I believe the Capitol Police would be thankful for it because it'll help them control the situation more. Yes.
All right, and lastly,
One second. Just 1 second. To answer the question that is on the floor, correction, no. Well, not from the Department of Justice, since he was released shortly after he was arrested. He was released. I have not questioned him myself.
I have questioned him. The U.S. Capitol Police Intelligence Division did read him his Miranda rights when he was detained and was questioned by authorities. The Department of Justice has not.
Okay. I was not aware of that. Okay. Senator Wintour, you can continue.
all right. How many years in prison would the senator receive with these amount of charges he has committed?
He has a lot of charges against him. It's over 100. A lot of people think that this is overkill because of there being 50, I believe it's 52, 57 members of Congress when the starts were made. He has received a charge for each individual which was threatened. So something like that I don't believe would move to a life sentence just from the threatening, but he does have a seditious conspiracy charge against him.
And lastly, where have you spoken with the president about this case, and what is the president's policy?
I have not spoken to the president, but the president has spoken to me and expressed his concern on the case. The president is not in support of the case. And he believes that it should be discarded because of this is out of RP, because of the board of directors first voting the situation, but a vote was held by the board of directors to reopen the RP and to allow for it to go through.
And from my recollection, I believe the Capitol game opened and the Senate opened just a few days ago, but I believe email communications and any official communications and documents were still a part of role play even before the Capitol opened. Am I wrong?
That is correct.
So it would be still in role play. So
that is correct.
Chandler, you should get your fucking stuff right.
All right, let's not use obscene language here.
The imposter issue. What is your username on Discord so I can invite you up here? What's your username so I can invite you to speak? Epic. Yes.
And those that are standing up within the room, please remain seated at this time. Thank you.
Okay. If you like type of. Okay. With no further questions, if anyone have further questions, you can message my email, and I will get to my email. I will get to that email as soon as possible. For those that do not have my email is marcushanson.ap.gov@gmail.com. With no further questions, this meeting is dismissed. Press is dismissed.
Someone get me off this stage before I have a heat stroke. These formals are